right, everyone. How is everyone doing? That was just a quick video that I put together over the last couple of days. 2 weeks ago, I was down in Baja. I went to visit a group of dogs that I am kind of taking care of. 1 year ago, I went down there and I was touched by the amount of dogs that are down there, and so I've been sending money down there, and we've been, rescuing dogs and stuff. And so I went this 2 weeks ago just to check up on that, and then to get footage so that I can make a video about it. And then, because of the whales, then we got to see that. But I don't see how that fits in my channel. Just right now, I don't have a full story about the whales, so I just did that quick video. I decided I'd throw it up here before, while we're waiting for everyone to show up and stuff. But this is our weekly Monday night streams that we do here. For all of you guys who might be new, there are about 1,000 new subscribers every week to the channel. So if you're one of those new ones, we do this every Monday night. We get together and we just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I usually put a picture on the thumbnail about whatever just happened that I'm working on. And most of the times, we actually don't end up talking about that, which there's some of you guys that get angry about that because you guys say, like, you never talk about the thing you say you're going to talk about. And that is true. The reason for that is that you guys drive the conversation, because it's basically just like live Q&A. That's what this turns out. And it's usually 2 hours to sometimes 3 hours, depending how how interesting the questions are, right? So, anyways, how is everyone doing today? I've been working a lot of stuff. I've been messing around with these guys. These are what are these? These are meters, right? These are the ones that will test how much energy it's flowing from one side to the other side of a circuit. It'll read the the rate at which the voltage and the rate at which thing. And so what I want to do is I want to make a board that will be able to do that. This one I like. Actually, the other one I think it also has this thing where you could actually put this thing and put a temperature measure sensor, so you can measure the temperature of your batteries. And I think you could set this. I haven't played around with it yet to be able to see if you can set it up so that it has a chime here. It has got a thing, so it will let you know if the battery's too hot, for example. Hopefully it can let you know if the battery's too hot in that way. And the reason we're talking about that is because this week we had we had two incidents. We had one where someone ordered PCBs, my design, from PCBWay, which is one of the houses that we decided not to go with because we actually had some issues where the fuses didn't work as good as the ones from a JLC PCB, and they ordered that and they seem to display a problem, like they're defective. In fact, I just got the package. Right? Here's the package. And so I am going to test these because I really want to test them to see if they are indeed, defective, right? If these boards have then that will be the first time that we get a defective board from one of these PCB houses. And it's gonna be from the PCB house that we decided not to go with because, it wasn't as good. Look at this. So these are the boards. Oh, he sent me the entire thing. Okay. So this is a system that someone else put together, and they loaded them up with cells, and it was just sitting there. And he said some of them were sitting there for an hour, some of them were sitting there for 4 hours, and then all of a sudden they just caught fire. And here's the boards. And so, I asked a million questions because I needed to figure out what if it was a problem. He had boards that were upside down, or like if they were backwards or something. But they all seemed to be good. I asked him if he had like cells that were backwards or whatever, and he said that he did originally put one cell backwards, so then he was made sure that from there on he wouldn't. And that's one way to actually make sure that you don't make a mistake, right? Is to make a mistake and then you're aware of that mistake. And so he said that one of the boards that had the problem was a single board that wasn't connected to anything else, and then it had the cells on it. So that kind of eliminates all the interconnectivity. Like I'm pretty sure he didn't connect them wrong or whatever, because then a single board wouldn't have done it. So this is one of the issues that we had this week, where we might have defective boards, and these are from this batch right here. So I'm gonna test them. I'm gonna go through these and test them, and if that happens to be the case, then I might have to recommend and for us to not use PCB way, but instead use JLC PCB, right? Because that's what we've been using. We've been getting a lot of good results, and when you look at them side by side, JLC and PCB way, yeah, PCB way always look like a little bit rougher around the edges. They're not as sharp. Their machines seem to be like less precise. Yeah, they're just slightly less quality, right? So that's coming up. Second, we had someone in our Facebook group have some cells go up in flames, and their house didn't catch fire, but their house was pretty much damaged and contaminated. I guess the fire marshal said that it condemned the place because of the toxic nature of the fire and stuff. And it was a big fire. I mean, it was like, and so we don't know the details. We don't know what Rick was doing. Rick was the name of the person. He mentioned that he had, what were they? The hoverboard packs inside of ammunition box. And those seemed to be the ones that caught fire, but then that kind of spread to other things or whatever. And so those have a BMS, if you guys know. But those have a really cheap BMS that doesn't balance cells, right? And so, we could speculate. We don't know. I don't know a lot of details about the thing, and I didn't want to, we don't want to ask the guy right now. He's kind of getting up on, getting past this thing because he didn't have a place to live and stuff. He set up a GoFundMe. I linked it on the group. A lot of you guys have helped and stuff, and that was going to help him kind of, get to the next point, get past this thing or whatever. And I told him that we should at least, go through the exercise to try to figure out what went wrong, what could have been the problem that made those cells catch fire, right? Because it's always useful, I think, I get blamed that I don't talk a lot about the problems and the safety. But, I have my reasons for it. It's like everyone that's doing this stuff, they should know and they should be responsible for what they do. And the minute that I start addressing it and making it my concern, I think that's the minute that I become liable for that stuff. So I don't do, what's the thing? People ask me all the time why I don't do, what's the thing? Whatever, the word escapes me, but I don't put, warning signs and, stuff. And yeah, I have a whole video where I explain that, right? That why I'm not responsible for what everyone else does. My thing here is to inspire you guys, right? To do things, right? But you guys need to be safe. You guys are still responsible for that. And so, now that I'm doing the PCBs and stuff, I have a higher level of responsibility, right? So that's why I'm doing the PCB boards. Let me show you one of the ones that I'm working on here. These are the prototypes that I'm working with here, and this one has a triple BMS because these are cheap, right? And they often fail. So I'm thinking that if one fails, then we have a redundancy and stuff. But as I'm thinking, maybe this. I still see problems, right? Nothing's perfect, and there are challenges. If one of these fails, the problem that I don't like is that these will never let you know that they fail. And so I'm kind of looking right now into like maybe being able to use one of these guys in here in conjunction with these, right? So that if one of the cell groups is off and it goes past the right voltage, at least you'll know this thing will start. These are loud and annoying, right? And so if you keep it here, you know, this thing starts making noise all of a sudden, then that's a good thing. You'll know to go and look, because these are switches and they're supposed to disconnect if the cells are too low or the cells are too high. And so, you know, I'm gonna do a videos testing that, and you know, hopefully I don't catch too many bad ones. You know, but maybe we'll do like a test on 10 of these units and then see if any of them display normal behavior, like they're bad, you know. Hopefully, yeah, these are inexpensive, but they're not so bad that like within 10 units there's like going to be faulty ones or whatever. But there are going to be faulty ones, and hopefully having a redundancy built into this board will help. And because that happened this week, I just made about 100 of these boards available to the people that have ordered PCBs from me within the last 2 months, because I know you guys are building packs right now, and so if you have these available, then most likely you're gonna put them in your systems, and that's gonna increase the chance of or lower the chance of any issues having to do with cells going crazy and just blowing up, right? So that's what we're doing here. If you guys want to talk about BMSs and stuff, then I'm down. I'm down for that today. But let's hear what you guys are saying. Disclosures. Yeah, disclosures is the word that I was looking for. I am not a man of disclosures. I don't know. I kind of have a thing against them, you know, on principle kind of thing, right? I was like, I totally hate the fact that we live in a world where you have to, you know, write on the you know, those visors for the suns on the cars where it says do not drive with them when they blocked your entire thing. It's like, it's obvious that you shouldn't be driving, but because there are so many dumb people in the world, you know, and because it's so easy to sue here in the United States, they have to write do not drive with this thing on, which is completely ridiculous, right? It's like, I refuse to think or to give in to the level of that level of ridiculousness, you know, when it comes to. And so I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that or whatever, but it is what it is, and you know, I'm standing my ground for now. You know, I'm not, you know, I changed, my points of view changed too, so I'm evolving like everyone else. But let's see, where's everyone here from today? How is everyone doing? Happy New Chinese Year. Happy Chinese New Year, says Kendrick Tan. Yes. So if you guys are aware, a Chinese New Year is upon us. And it means that we can't order anything from China. And so, yeah, we kind of are all feeling it. That's crazy. That's how much we depend on the Chinese stuff. BMS board sold out. Any chance you're going to release the board files? Yes, I am going to release the board files. I have more boards, by the way. That was just, I made a small number available just for those people that had order, and I know they're working on projects. I do have more boards that I'm going to offer as a kit. Because of the fact that you can't order parts online right now from China because everybody's partying, then you're not going to be able to move, right? So the next batch that I'm going to put, like today or tomorrow or whatever, it's going to have all the little parts, right? But that's going to take me a little bit. Today I just was able to print all the things and, you know, all the labels and stuff and put them in a little box or a little thing and send them out. Actually, I haven't sent them out. They're over there in the car. But the other ones are going to take me a little bit longer. So they're going to become available. But I want to do a few rounds. So I don't know if you know this, but this is an open source project. And I made it open source from the very beginning. And so as a result of that, I haven't made any money off of it, right? There's been a few commissions, like affiliate commissions here and then when you guys buy some parts and stuff. But it's nothing, right? So I've been paying out of my pocket to develop some of the boards. I don't know how to do the layout, so I'd pay someone to, you know, to take my scribble ideas and then make them into boards, you know, into actual files. And so I know I sold a bunch of them together with a partner, within the last 3 months, but I didn't get to see any of that money because that money disappeared with the business partner. And so that was unfortunate. But as it turns out, I'm more than that, probably about a year into development of this thing. And I spent quite a bit of time, developing, thinking about ideas, doing the thing, designing, and then prototyping, and then testing and stuff, right? And so I'd like to recoup a little bit of the expenses at the very least first. And so I'm going to hold that one board for at least for a couple of rounds. And then after that, then I'll make it available for you guys to buy it and stuff directly. Not that I don't have problem with you guys ordering. Like whenever I put those things, they sold out really quickly. So I might not have to do that very long. Might be something like in 2 weeks or something. I'll make the thing available. So that's just the idea behind that. But I will put some more for sale. We'll have all the parts, like the fuses and the little things, so that you guys can actually put them together, and it should be good. You bought a Kirby? No, I already had a Kirby a long time ago. Where is it? Oh, it's right there. Yeah, I've had that for many years. Okay, let's see. Justin Kenny is in the house. So what do you think about doing the Wi-Fi enabled cell monitor for the PCB system? Or do you want to just do the cheap meters? Well, so Kenny is he is actually the one that did the layout on the boards. Justin Kenny here, and he's really good. He has some abilities. He knows how to code and how to use some of these microcontrollers and stuff, right? For me, that's like Chinese, right? I understand the principles and I understand the concepts. It's just I can't do it myself, so I would have to work really close with someone like you and others in the community, right? And so because it requires me to rely on external sources, I'm like, I just have bad luck, working with other people, as it seems. So my first inclination is to do something that I can do on my own, right? And so that's why instead of like developing, like a simple BMS using microcontroller and a thing and MOSFETs and stuff, I'm like, let's just take something off the shelf and do it, right? Like that's easy. That's a thing that I can buy and I can test and I can do, and then we get. So that's why I'm approaching the same thing as meters. Obviously, designing something custom for our little application, it's the better way, right? But then I'm thinking about the timeline, and it's like that's still ahead, right? Like I don't want to release my system's quite not ready to be unleashed into the world quite yet because it's missing those keys, right? The one was the BMS thing, something that would just prevent you from killing your cells, which is something really easy to do. And then when you try to charge them, you would overcharge them, and it's really easy to just not pay attention, and then make them, catch fire. And so the other part of that is the metering. You don't need a ton of information, but you just need like basic information. And one of them is like, what are your cell voltages are, right? If one cell group is off, it's drifted apart from all the other ones, and you don't know you might be in danger, and you might be in danger for like weeks, you know what I mean? Like it's going up and down, and every like cycle is drifting and drifting apart, and it's getting more and more dangerous. It's getting more chances that cell is gonna, and you don't know because you can't graphically see, and that's the reason why I don't want to do the ones where it gives you a bunch of numbers. Like when you have 7 different numbers, 3-digit numbers with like with two digits past the decimal, your brain gets confused really. At least mine does. Gets confused really quickly. I'm looking at a giant group of numbers. I can't tell what they mean, But if you have a graphical thing where it's like, here's where the one cell is at, here's where the other cell is at. It's like 7 bars, and they go from 3 volts to 4.7. You can like quickly in 2 seconds look at it and be like, oh, my pack is fine, and you look at it, and then you come back a couple weeks later, I'm like, hey, cell number 3 is 0.2 of a volt low. Like what is going on there, and you could very quickly within seconds know very basic thing about the health of your battery, right, and the important health of your battery. So definitely, I think at the very least we should have that in our power walls. At least have the cell level, voltage readings, right? So that you can see it in a graphical form, so that you can just look at them like, if you see a flat line, you're like, wherever they're at the bottom, at the top, in the middle, doesn't matter. You're like, you're good to go. You know what I mean? Like, then there's no problem, because your system's designed to shut off at the top voltage. This is set up to shut out the bottom. You're good. And so that's the biggest drawback that I see with these cheap BMSs. It's like, these might be working all the time. This might be like, fighting with your cells, a bad cell that is drifting all the time. But you never know, right? You never know. This might be your best friend or your biggest enemy, because this might be faulty, or it might be just, saving you every day. You don't know. You just have no idea. And the day that it fails, you also don't know. The only reason there's an issue is when there's fire or something, or hopefully before that. But yeah, definitely, I think designing a system, even if it's simple, even if it's just to give us that, where you can set it with a little alarm or little, thing to like operate like a main contactor, for example, that would be very, very useful and stuff. And I think we should do it. But I think because we can get something off the ground really quickly, using something off the shelf, maybe we should leave that for like Gen 2 or Gen 3 or something, right? I think we need to make some of these things available sooner rather than later, just because there are a lot of boards out there already. So, but yeah. Toys for Boys says, you had me at the thumbnail. So sexy. I hope there's no evil in your BMS. Well, let's hope not. Well, they're not evil, just, what's the word? Maybe it's just not, I don't know. What's it when people are not good at their jobs? What is that called? Let's see. Ooh, Gustavo's from LC. Good morning, following you for more than 2 years. Wow. How do you do it? Thank you for that. Let's see. What are you guys saying? I'm falling way behind here because I'm not really talking about. Let's read some of the lower ones. I'm sorry if I've skipped yours. The microcontroller Wi-Fi thing would only be for reading cell voltages, not protecting the cells. Would still need another BMS. Yeah, so let's talk about a BMS, guys, because I think there's a lot of people that don't completely understand what a BMS, and I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that know more about the BMSs than me, right? I'm actually quite ignorant. Not ignorant. I'm quite uneducated about BMSs because I don't use them that much, right? Like all my batteries don't have BMS, but my bus doesn't have BMS. These ones have integrated BMSs, but they're the cheap ones. They're the ones that don't balance. So, I should check on those things. Here's one. Here's a 4S, right? So a BMS, it's a conjunction. It's two things, right? There's different ones. It's a switch. It's mainly a switch, right? That will measure each individual cell voltage. And if it gets out of range, then it shuts off the switch, right? And that's at the bottom, and that's at the top. So that is one kind of switch. That's the basic BMS system, right? It looks at your cells. If one cell is drifted, it gets out of, it's too low or too high, shuts off the switch. And the switches are right here. It's these MOSFETs right here, right? There's some kind of transistor or whatever. And it measures current. That's what these things are, these little shunts here. And then the more advanced one is it balances those cells, right? So if one cell is going off, or one cell group is drifting aside from the other one, then some of these have like resistors that will burn energy from the high groups to bring them down to the lower groups. And so it could potentially be balancing the cells. One that keeps losing energy for whatever reason, internal resistance, internal shorts or whatever. Then the healthy one, when it goes up, when you're charging it and it hits the top first, then it'll start burning energy from that one to bring it down, let the other one catch up, then, the cells. So the problem, that's the basic thing, right? The problem with these BMSs right here that are available, these come from very simple applications like e-bikes. These are e-bike BMSs, right? It's that they're not configurable, right? So you can't set they're not that great for power holes, because power holes, we want our cells to last a long time. So we want to set the top charging point or whatever lower than full, right? Because that's where all the damage happens. It's at the very top and at the very bottom. So you just want to stay in the middle. But at the middle, these things never, they don't balance there, right? So if one of your cells is drifting apart from the other ones, and if it's always in the middle, it never gets to the point at the very top where these then start burning the energy, right? And so not very useful for that. So you can't set up, and then you can't set up. So someone said that theirs didn't shut off, didn't turn off the MOSFETs at the very top. I think you have to push them. They won't do it at 4.2. I think they'll do it like at 4.3, 4.4, 4.5 volts, right? So once one of the cells gets to that point where it's obviously past the point where you want it to be, then only then it shuts off the MOSFETs, right? So you might have to push your thing a little bit higher. We'll test this. I'll do a little video, and then I'll push one of the cells all the way up, see exactly where these guys will do it, right? This is, there's a bunch of these ones. There's like a similar design, but I think it's made by a bunch of manufacturers. This is one of the most popular ones for some reason in China. And then the same thing, when does it start to balance and at what rate, right? So we can look at the stuff. So if you're charging faster than this thing can burn the energy, right, then it might take a long time for it to charge, right? And I think the charger has to be able to reconnect and then start charging the charging process again, and then it'll burn more. Let that high cell overcharge again so they can burn the energy down, and then turn on the charging again, and then let it get high, turn it off, and then do the thing. But if if you're charging using solar, for example, right, and you only have 5 hours when you're charging, and if in those 5 hours, for example, that process can't happen because the battery was used overnight or whatever, then you might never get the chance to actually reach that point where now it's burning the thing, right? So even though you have a proper system that is supposed to, balance, it just the conditions are never there, right? So you have to look into all those little nuances and things when you're designing a system, right? And so the best thing is to have a BMS system that is configurable, because then you can set all those little parameters, right? It's you can set higher rates at which you're burning the thing, or you can set it to, hopefully to balance not when it's only on the top, but in the middle too, right? Because that's where most of the battery spends its time, right? In the middle, because your sun hours is barely enough to charge it, and then you discharge it through the rest of the night, and then the next morning the sun comes out. That sort of stuff, right? So that's the holy grail right there. And that system exists, right? It's Batrium and stuff, right? But it doesn't quite work with a lot of the systems. It doesn't quite work with our system yet, with our PCBs. They're coming up with something. Hopefully they'll have something. The SBMS, the Electrodacus one, that one will work. Right now it's designed to actually work with our system like our PCBs, but that one's hard to get because he's making them in batches, right? So there are other systems out there that are commercially available, but I have very little faith in them, because I know them from way back in the day when we were doing the electric cars, and they have a bad rep. They used to kill a lot of batteries back in the day, right? So you're like, have they gotten any better? Hopefully. I don't know. I guess I have to check, right? And so that's the problem. As in my eyes, it seems like there's nothing really that fits other than Batrium and these Electrodacus, right? Which both systems are hard to get. They're not quite there. They're working on it. So yeah, we're kind of in this middle ground right now where like we're just trying to build batteries and just hope that they're safe, right? And there are a lot of ways that you can keep them safe, right? But I think not everyone's got, you know, not everyone's got the what it takes, I think, to keep their batteries safe, right? Definitely, it's a lot of work, and so yeah, we're in this weird thing that hopefully we'll get past it and stuff. Let's see what you guys are saying, because I've been talking too long now. Tesla bought out Maxwell Technology. I saw that on the news today. Yeah, I wonder what what Maxwell had that they wanted, but they must have something. All right, is there 224 watching now? Wow, yeah, it's happening. Glenn Jerkins, Jago, love your channel. Also, how many people you helped out in Puerto Rico? But I'm curious about your BMS boards, mainly the difference between each version, release, and where to buy. So there's only one version of the BMS board. This is the first one. All the other ones are just battery boards, right? So the other ones we're just working through the different versions of the connectors and the thing, but they're mostly do the same thing. But the widths of the traces and that sort of stuff, the type of fuses that we're gonna use, the type of holders that that's mostly the difference between the other ones. So all the previous versions, other than the latest one, I'd say they're kind of obsolete, right? They were a work in progress. Even this one is kind of a work in progress, but this one is, there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of things that people are suggesting that we can still do. And a lot of them are pretty compelling. But I think this is a board right now that we can put together and then it will work, right? And so I think maybe, down the line, we'll maybe implement some other things. I have been thinking about the whole hot swappable thing. I do know that is useful. That would be really useful for people that are going to be using U cells. But because I'm targeting this thing for the masses, then most of the masses are not going to use recycled cells. They're going to, I'm recommending to use new cells, right? But again, till we get there, I think, I might have to do a version where it's hot swappable. And I have some ideas on how to make it easy and economical. Because there's some challenges that go with that, right? Like, the connectors are easy and stuff like that, but like, how do you make a box and stuff where like all that stuff, right? So I have some ideas. I might implement it. I might, get going on that soon. That might be the next iteration or whatever. And it might divert from the main one where there's two versions, one that is not hot swappable, one that it is. I don't know if I'll be able to make it like entirely interchangeable or backwards compatible and stuff, but maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I have to cook on my brain a little bit more. Let's see. Rick Clapp, what's the maximum battery boards should you stack? So it depends, right? 60. This can handle 60 amps, so each board can do about 4 amps continuous. So yeah, you do the math there. I think it's like 15 boards or something like that. I was thinking of does that add up? Let's see. 60 divided into 4. Yeah, 15 boards. So about 15 boards. Okay, let's see. Woo. What are you guys saying? Let's see. Considering most of the flood product come from China, the ones that explodes. Oh man, that's not a thing. We need a CV MPPT active balancing auto on solar charge controller. Yeah, and that's exactly what that Electrodacus is, right? That is basically that. It's a charger, it's a solar charger with a balancer built in, and it's an MPPT, right? So it's all custom made by someone that was talented and stuff. It's just availability is an issue because he's making them in batches and stuff, and so it's a slow process. Maxwell has the best super caps on the market. Ooh, I wonder if that's what they're interesting. Uh, J-Man Broseph says, I'm designing a safe, low-cost BMS. There you go. There is a market. Yes, we need it. I use a Tesla BMS with my builds. I simply feed the appropriate pins, the correct voltage, and fired up the OEM BMS. Check out my channel for more info. Wow. How are you doing that? How are you getting that system to work? Because doesn't it need CAN messages and stuff? Do you have a microcontroller that is sending all those? I know that Jack Rickard had something like that to make the the stock OEM BMS on Tesla modules work. And he's got a little box that he sells you that controls that and spits out the CAN messages. Martin Bugomoni? Truly solveless DIY battery electrode. Coding technology developed by Maxwell Technologies that can... Oh man, okay. Those are big words. I can't read them. It's negative 30 degrees C's here right now. Oh my God, I feel for you guys. Definitely, it's not sunny in California. It's been raining all day, which is weird because you're like a full day of rain. That never happens in California, but it's definitely no negative degrees. It's not, I mean, I do have a heater right now here. It's kind of bouncing off that wall, and yeah, it's not warm, but we're not freezing like the rest of you guys. Okay, let's see. I am one person away from 400 subscribers. I like you and your videos. Thanks for helping me to get started. Wow. Yeah, man, that's pretty good. I'll have to check out your channel. Post a link here if you can. Some people could post links. It's super weird. I never gotten in how that works. Sometimes I can't even post links. I put a link and it gets blocked like as a spam or something. But sometimes you guys can do it. Let's see. What are your questions? What are you guys talking about? What do you think about ceramic separators? I don't know what ceramic separators are. What are you talking about? Kenny says, what do you think of the revolt cells falling off in capacity at 335 cycles? Probably okay at lower voltage range, but I'll need to retest on a new cell. Oh yeah, and I have new cells. If you need some more, let me know. I can send you some. I'll have to look. Can you post the link to the latest? Because I stopped watching. I don't remember when was the last time I checked and stuff, but I don't know how useful it is since we still haven't found which factory is the one that is making those cells. I do have. Oh damn! I never posted the spec sheet. In fact, I have it here. How can I post that? I'll have to post it on the group. I was gonna do that last night. I was like looking through my files and then I saw it and I'm like, oh, I gotta do that, and I didn't do it. But I think maybe someone will be able to find who the manufacturer is just by because it's got a lot of Chinese stuff, right? It's like it's half Chinese, half English. On the English side, from what I can look at, it doesn't say the name of the factory or the thing, or but I do know that they're in AliExpress or at least Alibaba. So maybe someone that can read Chinese might be able to pick up the name of the factory by reading the thing. So I'll make it available. It's just I keep forgetting. Yeah, that is interesting, but 335 cycles. At the very least, we know that they're not deceitful in their sheet because it did speculate. It did say 300 degrees, right? And we gotta check yours to see where they're at 335 degrees, falling off. What is falling off? Does that mean that it reached about 70%? We'll have to see that because they might be outperforming the sheet. And we might be working them too hard. I don't remember if that sheet says at 1C or if you're doing a 1C test. I don't remember the particulars about the whole thing, right? Oh, well, Martin is doing a test, right? 18615s from back should get there Wednesday or Thursday. There we go. So I'm getting some of those. And did you post that they went out to 500? I think so. They're about the same. Can I wire a 4S BMS to a 4S 18650 holder and put copies of this in parallel as a drop-in replacement for my camper's rear 12 volt? No. Well, if they're lithium iron phosphate, yes, but they're, lithium cobalt oxide, no. 4S. Again, if you put the BMS, 4S BMS lithium cobalt oxide, then you will never reach the top of the charge curve. So your BMS basically will never be able to balance that pack. And if your pack is healthy enough, I guess it would work. But if it's not, then it would be able to just, drift from each other, and then that could cause some problems. So it just depends. There's particulars, but yeah, lithium coal oxide just doesn't work that great on 12 volts. That's just what it comes down to. Now, lithium iron phosphate, yes, do it. Are you still selling Sony cells? So we will make those available again. Again, we're still, the problem is that we can sell you all you want. You're not going to want to pay the shipping charges, right? EV West wasn't set up to ship small packages, and they didn't have great rates for that. So we set up, and we spent a whole month negotiating with UPS to get really great rates to ship those, and we did, and that's how I was able to sell. And we sold a whole pallet of those, right, in 3 weeks or whatever. But now that my partner disappeared, right, and he never gave me access to that account, then I don't have that account, and EV West doesn't have an account that has affordable rates, right? So right now it's like you're buying a $500 box of batteries for and it would cost like $300 to ship it, right? So it doesn't make sense. No one's gonna buy them. That's why I'm not putting them up for sale, right? You guys are just gonna complain. You're gonna hate us. You're gonna think that we're trying to rip you guys off and stuff. So I'm like, let's just not put them up. Let's just figure it out. So the problem, so the thing that happened this week was, for example, I just got a bill for, apparently my partner never paid UPS. We were shipping all the stuff and he never bothered to pay. So there's like a $2,000 pending, fraudulent, negative balance on the UPS account. So I thought that he was gonna keep it because it took a lot of work on his part to set it up, right? So I thought, oh, he's not gonna give me access to it because he wants to keep it, right? He went through all the process of setting it up. But now that I see that he didn't pay for it, and he's got so that account now is fraudulent. Now it's like it's about to get suspended, right? If he doesn't pay within I don't know how many days or whatever. So unfortunately, fortunately for me, that's not my account. I'm not the owner. It's not under my name. I got the bill because he set up this, my address as the address, right? But they can go after him for that money, right? And I called him and I said, look, I'm interested in keeping this account. If I pay the $2,000, can I keep it? Because I don't want to go through that process again. And the person at UPS that, I was talking to was like, no, I can't help you with that. You have to call the account manager. I called the account manager. The account manager's on, I don't know, they're on vacation till like mid this month or what. So I was like, I'm kind of dead water. I can't. By that time, I think the account might be suspended. I don't know if I'll be able to recover it. I would be willing to pay that money because it's worth that much, right? Because it's about a month back and forth going between them. It's a terrible process to try to set up a good account with UPS. Let me tell you, you wouldn't think so, but it is. It's just terrible. And I mean, so terrible that I would be willing to pay someone else's, $2,000 fee, or unpaid shipping charges, to be able to get access to that account. I don't know if that's going to work. with such a big corporation as UPS, sometimes things just are not as simple as that, right? Like, I might not be able to do that or whatever. But yeah, those cells will become available as soon as, I know EV West is trying to negotiate rates with them and stuff so that we can just sell them through their stuff. And that's going to happen. It's just, I don't know how soon that's going to happen. Let's see. I've always found BMSs intriguing. I've always found them just a pain. Christian says Maxwell Super Caps are some of the caps that were used with the Formula One race cars and the regenerative braking. I would assume Tesla's acquisition has something to do with that. Maybe. That's an interesting thing. Martin says that's expected. That's expected with the Revolt cells. Are you on the DIY Powerwall group on Facebook? I've been doing extensive testing on the back batteries that are similar to the VTC6s. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, 500 cycles. That's what Martin is saying, that those are dropping off. Even the Sony's BTC6s are dropping off at 500 cycles, which is crazy. Discharge curve tests, or the 1860s I'm testing from back. He put up a, look at that. He could post a, yeah, look at that. What are the different colors? Oh, the different discharge, or those are the different cycles. Add 400 cycles is that yellow line. Add 500 cycles is that red or dark red. Okay. Yeah, look at that. So they're dropping to 2.7 from 3, right? From 3 amp hours. Yeah, look at that. But look at that. They're becoming weaker because earlier in the discharge thing, they're just dropping faster, right? Where at the first cycle, they kind of stay kind of linear, right? On the, on the 500 cycle, it just rapidly goes all the way down to 3.8, 3.7. So it reaches nominal voltage really quickly. That's pretty crazy. I click on that link that he posted, by the way. That's what I'm commenting here. Can I just close this screen? Yeah, it won't take me off. All right, let's see. You're just dragging us down. UPS has an easy job. They pick up and put it down. It's not 2K worth of labor. Well, no, it's signing up the agreement, right? Because they want to charge you a bunch of money. So, yeah. And then, by the way, they don't do that great of a job. I handed them packages that they never scan, and then now the batteries are gone, like missing. Where are they? I don't know. They're like big, thousands of dollars worth of batteries. Where are they? And it's not even my account, so I can't even claim, put claims on them because they lost them, and it's a mess. It was a mess. It's okay. We didn't, lose too much money, but we didn't make any money. So that's not a good thing. Let's see. Oh my God, I'm a little behind here. Let's see. Where are those graphs? Yeah, click on the links there. Can I pick up 2,000 Sony cells of dual? Yeah, pretty sure you can. Send me an email, jhoodjack35. I'll let you know how to do it. I'll set it up so that you guys can pick them up. If you're local here, you can pick them up. That's the problem that we have right now. It's like we can't ship them. Do you think the back cells are good enough for electric motorcycle? Well, that's an interesting. Depends. How big is the battery? How big is the power draw? Let's see. I haven't posted on DIY Powerball. Yeah, there's our Facebook group, guys. Let's push the Facebook group. I think it's time. Oh man, I don't have it ready. I don't have the link ready. Do you, any of you guys have it ready? I'm sure you guys have it ready. Yeah, and by the way, if you guys want to help Rick, you know, he's unfortunate. Ooh, we flagged some content in this group that might go against our community standards. Ooh, let's look at that one. Steam Metrics, time for the schooling. What is this? Ohm's law tutorial and power electrical circuits. What? We flag these posts, comments, and story items because they might go against our community standards. They won't appear in the group unless you approve them. If you delete them, you can also mute, remove, or block the member who posted them. If you do nothing, they'll be permanently deleted after 30 days. What are you guys posting, man? It's, I'll look at that later, but that's pretty weird. This is the first time I've gotten that. Gotta keep it clean over there, guys. Okay, here we go. That's the thing. Hopefully, Island Times have beat me to it. Look at that. Island Times is on the ball here. Look at that. Let's see. Abdul, okay, thanks. I'll be in touch. Yeah, contact me. Send me an email, and we'll get some batteries on to you. I have built a board to monitor the cell block voltages using the LTC6803-1 chips. I'm combining them with the Chinese BMSs. Josh, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Well, I don't know if that's the chip that I'm using, but there's one that just has like a graphical, like, I'm trying to get one that has 9 segments, I think. 9 segments. Because the ones that I was using here have 4, and that's just not enough. It's too rough, right? And they're not adjustable. So, the voltages might be really close, but when you look at the things, there's a slightly thing or difference or whatever. Yeah. You should join our group and share your progress there so that we can, we can I don't know, benefit or hopefully, collaborate and stuff. It says there are power cells. They can sustain up to 15 amps, 30 amps if you cool them and keep them under 80C. Yeah, so I think out of the Chinese cells, right, back is one of those big manufacturers that is not like one of the huge ones like Panasonic and stuff, but they're pretty big. So they're one of the big of the smaller manufacturers, and one of the ones that will have actually like their own brand, right? Because there's a lot of factories, including like the ones that we use for the Revolt, where they do a lot of OEM. So basically, they don't push their name out there; they'll push anybody else's name. You buy the cells from them, and you slap your name into the cells and stuff. So Back, I think, is one of those ones that are promoting their brand, actively promoting their brand and stuff. Super fans, let's see. By the way, Rick Clapp, I just did. You were one of the ones that bought one of the boards, the BMS boards. I remember your name when I was doing the things. I'm involved in R&D, says Chaya, and I am more excited with the new stable materials that replace unstable materials such as lithium. Yeah, that would be awesome. So we don't have to have so many electronics trying to keep these batteries from from blowing up. Electric Longboard says, Jehu, I have the solution. 7S 3.7 volt 18650s with BMS through a 24 volt to 12 volt conversion can drop in, replace my AGM. Am I right? Yes, you could do that. But if your AGM battery requires lots of power output, then your DC to DC drop, conversion thing has to be pretty massive, right? Like, I mean, I don't know how many amps you have, but yeah, you could totally do it. The other problem is that a lot of those DC to DCs, it only flows one way. It doesn't flow the other way, and so you might have to have two of them. One flowing this way, one flowing that way, because if you're charging, right, because usually your 12-volt system is, discharging your battery, but then it's charging your battery again. So it's a two-way connection, and if you have a DC to DC, it might not work that way. So there's some challenges there. And that's why I'm like, just use lithium iron phosphate. That eliminates all the needed extra electronics to be able to work with that. Okay, let's see. What happened to your EV and your trailer? My EV is there. I just put more batteries recently, they weren't pristine. So I'm gonna have to go and check. I have 2 cycles on that batteries again. I need to make sure that they're not drifting apart, because they spent sometimes, a couple of the groups spent sometimes like low. There was a short. There was water, and the cables were going through water, so that was adding extra resistance. So as a result of that, some of the group cells, they were lower. So I have to check them, because now, they have issues. They weren't pristine cells. So I don't just want to trust them, right? And maybe I'll make a video about that, because I have the whole video of me installing them and like rebalancing them and stuff. Let me take a quick break. Crystal's here, and then I'll come back, okay? Just a couple minutes.
So around 2010, we started seeing the Tesla Roadster hype. And if you look at it just based on specifications, you're like, this power plant, we should be able to put this in other cars. We just kind of started a project, kind of like a technical exercise to see if we could actually build our own, kind of homebrew electric race car.
Today I'm going to show you how to build this electric skateboard. As you know, electric skateboards are a thing now. They've been a thing for a while. There's the expensive ones, there's the cheap ones, and everything in between. But there's a new breed of electric skateboards. They're off-road, and you got a glimpse of one of them last time I was in New York, and I got to meet Vitaly, which runs the Portable Electric Vehicles channel on YouTube. He built himself this beast of an electric skateboard that supposedly does about 55 miles per hour, which is just insane. So I thought I would show you how I would build one on the cheap, using off-the-shelf parts to keep the build simple. So let's get started. The building of the Twin Towers, and it turns out they're so close to the ocean, they needed to retain all that water. So they had to build these walls, and each one of those little things there are screws. They're just rods, steel rods that are going through the bedrock to hold that wall. And this is not the only, this is probably the last one, because the building was right there. So this is
I think those are called anchor bolts.
Anchor bolts, yeah. And they call those walls slurry walls.
Crystal's covered up like it was sandy.
I'm cold.
We almost lost our wheel right here.
Let's make a power wall.
Positive, positive.
Well, they're not super even, but they're okay. Whoa, they are kind of all over the place.
And just like that, we assembled a 1 kilowatt hour battery pack, 24 volts, ready to be used.
Alrighty. Alrighty, here we go. Look at it go. Vieron. I don't know. Oh my god!
Let's talk about the EV West M3.
I'm Michael Bream with EV West, and 7 years ago we started our little electric car speed shop so we could help people make classic cars go faster. At the time we were looking around for venues and there wasn't a lot available to electric cars, and we came across Pikes Peak and they actually had a class. And we ended up building the car, purpose-built for Pikes Peak. We ran the race in 2012. We ended up setting a record for the fastest street-legal electric car to go up the hill.
Now the car that Michael is talking about is the famous M3.
342 horsepower and 850.4 pound-feet of torque.
A few years later, I saw it. So how much does this Powerwall cost? Let's do a rundown on the prices of all the components. First, we have the solar charge controller available for $38.99, the bidirectional meter at $29.99, an uninterruptible power supply available for $30. The battery modules are $50 each. There's 10 of them, so it's $500 in total. The 32-inch metal box is $59.22. A fuse holder is $682. The battery management system, the long ones are $14 each, and the main unit is like $200, so it comes down to a total of $342. All these components come to a grand total of $1,008 US. You can find the links for all these parts on the description of this video. I want to thank you for watching. Stay tuned for future videos, all having to do with DIY renewable energy.
that transition? All right, I think we're back now. So, what is everyone talking about? By the way, guys, so did you guys hear that Tesla announced that they're not going to use the 2170s on the Model S or the Model X's? That means that they have a new battery form factor or new chemistry. Maybe the same form factor as the 18650s, but different chemistry. What else? Something else, right? Yeah, something else was in the news or whatever. If you guys know more about that, I just read the headlines. I didn't actually read any of the articles or whatever. I'm too busy. Nate Patel, he just got here. Look at that. Welcome to the welcome to the conversation. I don't know what we're talking about here. We were talking about something, then I took a break. Now I'm back. I need the battery pack to help me move out of my parents. What? Luke? I have solar hooked up and I just have deep cycle lead acid batteries and I need a better choice of lithiums. There you go. Wow. Let's see. Just bought a new old school AC Delco. AC Delco. Yeah, that's for my F-150. How lame is that? Wait, is LC Delco is a battery? I think it's a battery, right? Just means that they aren't going to use the newest battery. Well, yeah, but they're going to use the newest battery for their top of the line vehicles. It just means that they're gonna skip the 2170s because they have something better, right? That's because it doesn't make sense why they wouldn't use their latest, greatest technology. But that means that the 2170 is not the latest version, so they're gonna skip that whole thing and they're gonna jump into the next one, which is interesting. Very interesting. That means they have a lot of tricks up their sleeves. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not a whole lot of them, but at least enough to make it possible, right? The 2170s, they're not groundbreaking. It's not like some crazy thing, but just incremental, right? It's incremental improvements in the battery packs that they're putting in their cars. So you would think they would want that on the top of the line, but turns out not anymore. They have already invested a ton of money into the old battery cells. They need all the cells possible for the Model 3. They can produce enough for the S and X2. Yeah, that's true. Need more of a heads up. Random starts at 11:30. No. Yeah. Well, 8 o'clock, right? 8:20, 8:10, or I don't know what time I actually got on here, but yeah. Is it possible to take a battery back up and make the battery bigger for longer runtime and downtime? I don't know what that means. What do you mean? To take back up and make it bigger. What does that mean? For high current applications, skateboards, mountain boards, do you suggest BMS, discharge, or bypass? So, I mean, it just depends, right? Like, just look at the RC world, right? They have these lipos that run at 30 Cs, 40 Cs, 50 Cs, 100 Cs. And they don't use a BMS, right? Because it doesn't make sense. In order to have a switch that can put out all the amperage or whatever, it would be like big, right? And the whole thing about having these little batteries that put out a ton of power, it doesn't allow them to have all the circuitry there to have a safety thing. So, that's why they have the balanced chargers, right? So it could be done like that with the skateboards and e-bikes and stuff, right? There's one way that you can do it. They're not much bigger. I mean, they can be. On my case, though, I didn't put a BMS in there, and I haven't checked my batteries. But to tell the truth, I've only done like 5 cycles on my skateboard since I don't use it quite a lot, right? It would be interesting to go and check. Except that it's kind of hard because I didn't even put balancing leads on that pack, and it's such a big one that it's discharging at so low rates that I didn't think it was going to be a huge thing. Will that battery get damaged? Maybe. I don't know. It's just will it catch fire while I'm running, while I'm charging? Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to check it out or whatever. I'm redoing another version of that, and I don't know. I guess I'll have to see if I can find. Do I have one? I don't know if I have a 12S. That's what we're doing. The next one, we're going to be a 12S, and it's going to be Tesla cells, which are out of the modules or whatever. So maybe we'll end up using a BMS. It will have to do about 40 amps, 50 amps or something. So if I have that, if I can find one, I guess that's what I'm going to end up doing. It's supposed to take a battery back. Okay, so I already read that one. I'm looking at 450 lithium battery on eBay. I think it produces 1.2 kilowatt hours. Yeah, that's about 200. Two something a kilowatt hour. That's about the going rate for batteries. Thorium, let's see. Are the cost of the EV conversion kits from EV West going down at all? How long does the conversion take? I don't know if the kit prices are going down. I haven't checked them in a while. I know the prices of the batteries are going down, and so that means the overall price of a conversion is going down. In their case, they won't really touch your car unless you have like some cool project. And the reason is because they're not in the business of doing like production work, right? So I think like with all the projects that they have, they're so custom and stuff that it's gonna take a long time. They're out. I think he quotes like people at like they're out 5 years waiting time right now to convert a vehicle at EV West. So unless you're like a billionaire or whatever, because they do have those, or some celebrity or something, they might have some incentive to like move them ahead in the line because of the TV show or something like that, right? But I think regularly, just normally, I think you can't. You just can't. You just have to wait forever. It has to be like a super cool project that Michael likes, and then he might, jump on it or whatever. But I mean, he's got some awesome projects that have been there for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, and they're waiting for like the perfect thing, or they're waiting for I know there were a lot of these projects were waiting for the Tesla motors to be hacked and to be ready to go, and that took a few years. And now that they're there, I think now that some of those projects are starting to move, but they've been there for years, right? So that might be the thing, and I think that he's gonna probably get old. I know he was pitching me that we needed to change our motors off of our buses because we should be because our stuff is old now, right? I mean, like, it's no longer cutting edge when it comes in the DIY world. So he's like, we need to have Tesla motors because that's the thing that's happening right now. We need to change them. And I go, well, yeah, but I can barely afford to get mine when I did it. It took me years. Like, I would take it down and put a Tesla in there. I mean, I guess I could do it. I'm still working on my battery. I can't get started on my battery. Let's see. What did it say? Plan to use 3-phase motor. I am leaning towards the Fiero. Fiero? I think it might be lighter. Huh. You want to convert a Fiero? Where can I find EV conversion kits? Yeah, there's several places on the internet, but I think the best ones are EV West. And there's not a ton. I mean, there's a lot of components, but there's not a ton of them that are like kind of plug and play, right? There's a lot of ones that require quite a bit of knowledge, engineering, coding, hacking, that sort of stuff, right? So there's a few of them that are just like, you know, you can buy them, you can install them, and then do, you know, light level like programming and stuff. But yeah, there's not a ton of places. Have you ever thought of selling a build-it-yourself kit? For what? For electric cars? No, those components are really expensive, so I don't want to. I want to get out of selling stuff. That's my main thing for the last few years, right? I want to sell less and make more videos, create more content, and I still get pulled in. You know what I mean? You know, like these PCB things, like. I shouldn't be selling them, but I'm like, I've spent so much time developing this thing that I need to make a little bit of money on them before I can, you know, move away from that, right? And so as a result of that, I'm here. I'm shipping stuff, you know, again, doing things that I don't want to do. Whoa, what's going on here? Ooh, new member. Welcome, Lee Holt. Thank you for joining. By the way, guys, you can join this, my channel. You become what? Not a member. What is it? You join. I don't know what they call them, but it's not. It's another level from just a member. Instead of subscriber, now you become a member. And then that's what funds these live chats every week or whatever. All the people like real old geekster, he is a member. Now Lee Holt is a member. The ones that have the little sign on the thing are members. So yeah, let's thank our members here for making these live chats available and stuff, whatever. I'd rather buy from EV West. I won't be loud to drive my 2040. We should petition Walmart and Canadian Tire, etc., to provide electric vehicle common parts aisle. Yeah, something's gonna. I think that's gonna get here sooner than later. I think the adoption is going to like be exponential, right? And all of a sudden, it's just gonna be everywhere, and it's not gonna be cool anymore. It's just gonna be like, oh, you're putting an electric motor in your car, okay? Whatever, everyone's doing it. That's the thing to do. Whatever is doing it. Just think about, I'm gonna do some collaborations with other YouTubers. That every big YouTuber all of a sudden now is getting on board and doing videos about Tesla, right? I mean, we've been here for 2 years, 3 years, doing stuff about Tesla, opening them up and stuff. These guys are barely getting. So now it's becoming mainstream. These guys don't know anything about technology, but they know that Tesla cars are cool. And they want to, kind of get in there and do a thing. And that's cool. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like they're becoming mainstream. And they will become more mainstream. I mean, this is still kind of early in the adoption curve, right? So, yeah, it's just going to happen really quick. What can I use to capacity test a 40-volt LiPo4 pack with? You can get one of these guys. I mean, not particularly these ones, because these will take forever to come from China. It's like 3 weeks or something, and they're not shipping for like 2 weeks. But there are a bunch of these ones that I have on my kit.com that there's like bi-directional meters and stuff. What do they look like? Do I have one in there? Oh yeah, I have one in here. This is for that next project that I'm doing, right? And the cool thing about these is that this is kind of half of a BMS. BMS has a switch, right, that'll cut the energy, and this you can actually set it. You can set what the upper voltage should be and what the lower voltage should be, and then you can set it, and it'll drive a damn it, come on, it'll drive a relay, right, to turn on or to tune off. So you can disconnect. This thing can disconnect your battery if it hits a target. If it's too low, right, then it'll disconnect it. If it gets too high, it'll disconnect it. And it measures the current going through here. It's got a Hall effect sensor. And then the last project that I did, I used, just regular automotive relays, right? And then I use 24 volt, which are like boat relays, right? Because they run on 24 volts. But this time around, I want to check these, because these are solid state relays, right? And this is basically just the same thing. It's just it's a semiconductor, right? A transistor or whatever. And supposedly these will do 40 amps. Yeah, 40 amps supposedly. I don't know if they'll do 40 amps, but the reason why I want to use these instead of the automotive relays is I think because these might end up using way less power to run them, right? And a regular relay will have this coil that you have to energize, and then it has to pull the contacts and close them. I think that coil burns a lot of energy. It gets hot, right? And so I'm gonna measure it. I have 2 of those relays in that thing there, and I want to put the clamp and see how much energy they're wasting, and so you can kind of calculate, over like a whole charge of a battery, right? A whole cycle, how much energy went just to power the switches, the relays. And then, we'll run these side by side and see if we can run more efficiently using these guys, right? But again, we'll have to try and see if if these can actually do the power output, because that inverter can do 100 amps. And so these can do 80 amps. I mean, 80 is the max, so maybe I'll have to get like another one and run it in parallel or something. I don't know, but these are available. These are, right? Oh yeah, and you were asking how you can set to discharge it. Well, this will help you measure the energy. Yeah, just get an inverter. Get some device that will run on that battery's voltage, right? You have a 40 volt battery. Okay, so if you have 40 volt battery, get yourself a grid tie inverter that runs on 40 volts. And then connect your battery pack, charge it all the way up, and then connect it to this inverter, connect it through the little, meter, and then connect it to the wall. And it'll just grab that energy from the battery and it'll dump it right into your wiring and your home wiring. And it'll do 30 amps, I think. It'll do it at a rate of 30 amps, 1,000 watts. And so that energy does not lost, right? It'll go into your wiring. If your house is using energy, then it'll go there. If not, you'll just dump it into the grid. But that's one way to discharge a battery. And I've done it in a couple of videos, so you can look at them. And I've used this exact same equipment to test and stuff. That's one quick way. There you go. Tell people to subscribe to my channel. Oh, go to subscribe to James Claflin. There you go. What time is it? Oh, 9:40. Okay, we're gonna have to call it quits here pretty soon. It's late. Look at that. About 40 of you have dropped off. More than 30. About 50 of you. Drone says, do you have any suggestions for a high voltage DC to DC converter? Well, it depends, right? What are you trying to do? I can see right now the worry hydrogen. So there depends. There are some on eBay, Amazon, that will do 24 volts to like 12 volts, for example. There are some like 1,000 watt ones that you can set to any voltage, 60 volts down to like 10 volts or something. Those are the ranges on both sides of the thing. There are some there, but I don't I have not too much experience doing that, right? I have one that I bought to make the 24 volt into 12 volts, and it's just a 20 amp one. It's just a little one that it's kind of sealed, and it's very popular. So I got that one so I can put 12 volt plugs on that box of batteries, right? Yeah, no, you'll have to try a few of those. Sorry, I don't have that much experience doing that, because I always, just recommend getting a battery that's closer to the voltage where you need it, so you don't have to use some kind of switching power supply between them. You got a part number on them solid state relays? Yeah, these are very popular. Fodder, I think. SSR-40DA. Oh, let's see if you can read it. There we go. Available in Amazon, eBay, probably AliExpress. You can find them all over the place. I'll put a link to this if I end up using them on that next project that I'm working on. But should be a way to run more efficiently. I thought you could click on my name and chat in the chat, and it would come up, and just try that, and it didn't work. Yeah, I think I can. I can go and click, it just says go to channel. I'm just in your channel. Let's see that. Ooh, 400 subscribers. You've passed your 400 subscriber line. Look at that. Look at that. And you're working on what? Battery. I'll have to spend some time looking at your videos, but yeah, for the meantime, if you guys want to support a subscriber by subscribing to his channel, there you go. I'll post a link here. Here's a link to his YouTube channel. There we go. Is there a difference in the Tesla modules that are for sale now? I've noticed that the 18650 modules that are coming out now have Tesla on the front, and BMS are direct wire instead of plugged. Yeah, so the modules are changing slightly, right? I don't know if I've seen the newest ones. So the ones that were really rare were the 100 kilowatt hour ones. They were different. They crammed more batteries into them. The old ones had 440 cells, I think, right? 74 cells per group, 6 groups. And the 100 kilowatt hour ones had more. Had 80 cells or something per group or something. There were more cells in there. But I've never seen one myself, because those were really rare cars. They were top of the line, performance vehicles and stuff. But now I think every Model S is going to have that battery, right? Because now they discontinued the 75 kilowatt hour battery. So now even the 85, the only version available now for Model S's are the 100 kilowatt hour. So now they're going to become more popular. And so I think those are the ones that you're seeing. Yeah, they had they've done a few revisions on the modules and stuff. Maybe one day I'll go. Next time I'm at EV West, if he's got all the revisions different, maybe I'll make a video where I'll point them out and stuff. I'll ask him. Maybe that's a thing that we can do. I know we have a couple of videos that we're going to go and do with them over there. Maybe we can schedule that one in there. Let's see. 45. Ruben Salazar. Look, he showed up. He's late, but he's here. I have a few items, such as the one he was holding up. Not sure you want me as a sub. Really? Yeah, that's true. Not everyone's a good sub. I have 26 subs. That's something. Actually, that solid state relay is really helpful for what I'm working on. Thank you. There you go, drone. BMS for 3S 8P leaf battery. 3S? How are you getting 3S if those are 2S each module? If you have one module, it's 2S. If you have two modules, it's 4S. So it's kind of hard to have a 3S. Unless you're saying one module is 1S, but that's not. Each module is 2S. So yeah. Which is better for spot welder, solenoid or supercapacitor? Well, those are two different things. Solenoid is a switch, it's a relay, and a supercapacitor is a battery, it's a power source. So you're saying like what's better, you know, a helicopter or a cat? They're not really quite related, you know what I mean? The larger Tesla battery they are going with. Longer casing. Where's your pops? I don't know. Where is my pops? He's not here. He's camera shy today. TrueTech, not a bench power supply. A UPS is for power failure. Is basically a battery backup system. Yep. The SSR-4 relay takes about 0.09 watts to trigger. 7.5 milliamps at 12 volts. Yeah, see? That's what I have to measure up against the regular car relay. Because I have a feeling that the car relays take a lot of power. Because they get hot. Like when they've been on for, you know, I don't know, a while, you go and touch the side of the box and it's warm. And you're like, that'd be that much heat there. It's, you know, just wasting a lot of energy from the battery, right? So it's not good. I'm trying to cut that. So this might be a better, even if you were to use 3 of them, right? Because then you'd be, whatever, 0.09 watts times 3, it'd be, you know, 30? It'd be 0.3 watts? It would be 1/3 of a watt? Yeah. I mean, man, that's still super low. Let's see. One life, one love. Thank you for the $1.99. Thank you for that. Every little bit helps. Obviously, cats are better. Is that the consensus here? A flying cat? Nate, next time, my reminder. Oh. All right, candies. You got candies. Oh, yeah, the ones on the floor. They might pick them up. These guys are crazy. My dogs are crazy. Okay, so question for everyone. Jolly Ranchers. The green apple ones are the best ones, right? And the worst ones will have to be the grape ones, right? We all agree here, right? Because if you don't agree, I don't know if we can be friends. I'm glad that this time around, this live stream, we can get to the real important issues. Which is the best Jolly Rancher flavor? My mama owns a Prius. Can I pull that battery and use it for solar? Yes, you can. Maybe not the way it is. It might be hard because it's like around 400 volts, so there's not a ton of equipment that will work with that voltage. But you can definitely take it out, take it apart, get some modules, put them in the wall, and use them. What, 7 modules? 7 modules will make pretty good 48 volts. It will work with any 48 volt equipment out there. There we go. See, green apple for the win. And green apple, there you go. See, I tell you, man, this is my kind of people. I once took the top of my mom's Honda Civic engine apart as a kid. She saw it, nearly went into shock, and she just walked away. Yeah. Did it work after that? Apple's the best. Look at that. Nobody likes the grape. The grape is the worst. I can't eat sugar, so no. Come on, Island Times. No fun, man. Automotive use for LiPo4 on 4S as a second car battery for, say, a Jeep. Should I use a BMS? And if so, what'd you recommend? Yeah, just get a BMS. Here's one. Although you would might, I don't know, depends. I don't know what you're going to be powering with it, but if you're going to have as a secondary battery, that means it's not going to have to put like a ton of power. So you would be able to use something like this. What is this? This doesn't say what the output is, but it essentially has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This thing has 6 of those MOSFETs. Pretty sure we can look them up. LS32160 FUAU. We can look at what the rating is of these MOSFETs, and then we times it times 6. You know, minus the inefficiencies, minus the fact that it doesn't have, heat sink. So I think it's mostly heat dissipation. That's what's going to limit you to how much power it can transfer here, right? Yeah, this is a 4S BMS right here. If one of them doesn't do the full power you want, you could stack up several of them. I don't know. I'm sure some people say there's issues with stacking, BMSs in parallel, which I'm sure there are. But I don't know. I say you can do it, or you can get 100 amp or 200. There are, BMSs out there that will do that. You just have to look for them. Go to eBay and then just type in 4S, 100 amps or 200 amp BMS, and then you should be able to find something. I don't know how good it's going to be, how reliable or whatever. They usually, Watermelon is close to second. Which is a good 40 volt grid tie inverter. There's one in Amazon for like $100. And it's great to just like test stuff, to do, to do experiments and stuff. Let me show you. It's in my kit. I have a kit that has inverters. Yeah, it's right here. Power inverters. I'll post a link here. It's right here. It's the one that's like $100 for 1,000 amps. Oh, come on, man. Oh, there we go. There we go. The SSR40 is an AC relay. I know UDC mechanical relays need a larger opening gap to break the arc because DC power doesn't go to 0 volts like AC power does, 120 times per second. Oh yeah, that is a DC relay. I wonder how it will handle the DC voltage. You're right, it says 24 to 380 volts AC. And I didn't think much of it because I thought, well, who cares, right? The transistor should be able to handle DC. I'm sure the transistor doesn't care, but maybe it does. I guess we shall find out. So would the AC really work for controlling DC power? And up to what voltage? Well, I'm only doing 24 volts, right? So I'm actually hitting the low side of that rating there, and it's actually in DC, so it's not. Yeah, I don't know. We will see. What's the story about the wall used Telecaster on the wall? I used to play guitar for a band growing up. I thought I was gonna be a rock star and stuff, and then it was good. It got me through lonely teenage years. yeah, it was a good thing. So now, I just have it there. I don't play much. I should pick it up and play it, but I don't have anybody to play with these days. So maybe one day we'll take it out and do something. Did you buy the heatsink HS150 accessory for the SSR? Nope. The average case temperature is 170 at ambient. Holy crap, that's hot. So it gets hot at 40 amps. Woo! Okay, so yeah, we might have to... Well, you know what? Here's the thing, though. I'm adding fans to that thing. And the fan is going to be very close, so I might just put these in front of those fans. Maybe I won't need to get that, because that heatsink is pretty big. I saw it. It's like, ugh. Or maybe I'll have to get it. I don't know. But good. Thank you for letting me know, because I didn't think about that. Inverted with charge controller and 48 volt. Battery hookup is the Outbot Skybox SBX5048. There you go. I've got a dozen of the A12326-650s. Do you think if I put them in parallel, they'd be able to provide enough current for a spot welder? Oh, hell yeah, they can. They can deliver 100 amp pull switch. Yeah, those things are scary, powerful. Yeah, put 5 of them in. Put 5 of them in parallel, and you should be able to get enough current to melt anything you want. I don't understand how an electric car is green energy. It draws power from the grid to charge the power. The grid is powered by nukes, coal, or oil. Gas is more energy efficient. Well, yeah, but it can also run on renewable technologies like the sun or nukes. Nukes don't create, CO2 in the atmosphere, so that's why it's green. Now, they do create stuff that is bad for the environment. It can be. I mean, it's dangerous, right? But if we were all nuclear power, then, we wouldn't be spewing so much CO2 into the atmosphere. So, yeah, the problem with that reasoning is that gas cars, gasoline cars, diesel cars, they could never run any cleaner well, actually they could if you use, the electric catalytic converters, all the other stuff, right? But you're still burning fuel, you know what I mean? Which is not a good thing, where electricity can be generated without burning stuff, without creating gases, without all doing all stuff, right? Yeah, there's an argument that electric cars, they have a bigger impact on the environment. Carbon footprint is bigger at production time. That's true, but in the lifespan of the product of the car, then they actually produce less carbon. They have a smaller carbon footprint, right? So that's why they're greener. And as the grid, evolves, and hopefully more, renewable energies are into the grid, then they will just get cleaner and cleaner. They will reach that point where they are better than the counterparts, the ICE combustion cars. Then it's gonna, that'll be, farther into the lifespan of that. It will move forward like earlier. So yeah, that's true. Your argument has some valid points in there, but in the overall scheme of things, electric cars are better for the environment. Island Times. Just found the channel, having fun, learning lots. There we go. Fusion is coming in. Fusion is a huge thing now that will be here definitely in the next 25 years. Where are you selling PCB packs? So I'm currently not selling PCB packs, but you can buy them yourself straight from the factory, from where I'm buying them from. It'll just take longer for you to get them. Here's the screen. Here's the screen with all the links. You can buy them yourself. This is actually the cheapest way that you can get into the system because you don't have me as a middleman trying to make, profits off of them. But of course, you can't buy anything right now because they're kind of shut down. China's shut down for like 2 weeks. So, hopefully less before that, I'll be able to put mine. And I don't have a lot of stock. I have like 1,000 kits, right? So it's not a huge amount. Those are gonna sell out like in a day. So, and then I'm gonna spend the next 2 weeks shipping them out because there's so much work to package us. In fact, I'm getting ahead of that. That's what we're doing right now. We're actually packaging everything so that when you guys order them, then we just print the labels and it's out the door and it's on its way to you. Because that's how it. So that sucks that it has to be like in batches. But again, I didn't start with like a big chunk of like money, right? That I can invest into this thing, right? It's like, it's costing me a lot of money to develop the system, and then now I have to buy a few $1,000s worth of stock so that we can get 1,000. And of course, I shouldn't have to done that because we did run a full cycle, but of course, the money disappeared along with my partner. So we're starting all over again, unfortunately. All right, so it's 10:03. I said we're gonna call it quits. How many people are watching still? Are you guys still here? 161. Yeah, quite a few of you have stuck around. I want to thank you guys for all the love, for all the support, for all the likes. Hit that like button. You see that like button right here? Right here? Hit that like button so that YouTube will share this video with more people that are interested in batteries and renewable technology and all that nonsense that is hard to kind of explain what we do here. We are kind of weird bunch of people that are interested in weird stuff. But yeah, thank you for joining me and thank you for supporting me. Definitely we'll have some cool videos coming up. I will be back in Baja California this next week to do more whale videos. We like animals, and whenever we have a chance, we like to do that and stuff. And then I do have cool videos coming up. If I don't sell too many of these kits and it doesn't take a lot of my time, I am setting up people to help me do it, so I don't have to like personally be so involved this time around and stuff. I don't know how that's gonna go. Hopefully that's gonna work better. But once we get there, then I'll be able to keep you guys more informed and creating more content in the showing you how to use it more so than trying to ship stuff out and trying to make all the stuff that you have to do to get stuff out the door and sell and stuff. So other than that, thank you. And we'll see you guys in the next videos. Next week. If I don't make videos, no, I should have another video by next Monday. So you'll get to see something. But if not, we'll see you next Monday. All right?
So around 2010, we started seeing the Tesla Roadster hype. And if you look at it just based on specifications, you're like, this power plant, we should be able to put this in other cars. We just kind of started a project, kind of like a technical exercise to see if we could actually build our own, kind of homebrew electric race car.
Today I'm going to show you how to build this electric skateboard.
As you know, electric skateboards are a thing now. They've been a thing for a while. There's the expensive ones, there's the cheap ones, and everything in between. But there's a new breed of electric skateboards. They're off-road. And you got a glimpse of one of them last time I was in New York. And I got to meet Vitaly, which runs the Portable Electric Vehicles channel on YouTube. He built himself this beast of an electric skateboard that supposedly does about 55 miles per hour, which is just insane. So I thought I would show you how I would build one on the cheap, using off-the-shelf parts to keep the build simple. So let's get started. The building of the Twin Towers, and it turns out they're so close to the ocean they needed to retain all that water. So they had to build these walls, and each one of those little things there are screws. They're just rods, steel rods that are going through the bedrock to hold that wall. And this is not the only, this is probably the last one because the building was right there. So this is a
I think those
last
are
one.
called anchor bolts.
Anchor bolts, yeah. And they call those walls slurry walls.
Crystal's covered up like it was sandy.
I'm cold.
We almost lost our wheel right here.
Let's make a power wall.
Positive, positive.
Well, they're not super even, but they're okay.
Whoa, they are kind of all over the place. And just like that, we assembled a 1 kilowatt hour battery pack, 24 volts, ready to be used.
Alrighty.
Here we go. Look at it go. Let's talk about the EV West M3.
I'm Michael Breen with EV West, and 7 years ago we started our little electric car speed shop so we could help people make classic cars go faster. At the time we were looking around for venues, and there wasn't a lot available to electric cars, and we came across Pikes Peak, and they actually had a class. And we ended up building the car, purpose-built for Pikes Peak. We ran the race in 2012. We ended up setting a record for the fastest street-legal electric car to go up the hill.
Now the car that Michael is talking about is the famous M3.
342 horsepower and 850.4 pound-feet of torque.
A few years later, I saw it. So how much does this Powerwall cost? Let's do a rundown on the prices of all the components. First, we have the solar charge controller available for $38.99, the bidirectional meter at $29.99, non-interruptible power supply available for $30. The battery modules are $50 each. There's 10 of them, so it's $500 in total. The 32-inch metal box is $59.22. A fuse holder is $682. The battery management system, the long ones are $14 each, and the main unit is like $200, so it comes down to a total of $342. All of these components come to a grand total of $1,008 US. You can find the links for all these parts on the description of this video. I want to thank you for watching. Stay tuned for future videos all having to do with DIY renewable energy. You ever wonder what people think about our electric conversions? See the reactions on this 70s Porsche 911.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Fuck yes. In a Porsche. Fuck yes.
This is a test of a Lidocala branded LGHG2 cell. According to the spec sheet, this cell can do a maximum of 20 amp continuous and shouldn't go above 75 degrees Celsius in temperature. And just like that, with that little crack, the cell is damaged beyond repair. At 15 amp load, this cell reached a maximum temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, at which point the CID was triggered, and now the battery is open circuit. So that's how you kill a fake LGHG2 branded Lidocala cells.
So you want to build a DIY Powerwall. I'll show you how to do one. Using these as batteries and these as your inverter, you can build a small DIY Powerwall. Let's get going.
Some 100 kilometers south of the border, there exists a place.
This is what's known as La Bufadora. It's a place where the water comes out. It's a blowhole. And let's sit around and watch the water come up.
I think I'm gonna get wet.
So was La Bufadora all that it's cracked up to be? Or
Yes.
were you impressed?
I was splashed. Watch it, that big splash.
Yeah, I was like 7 years old last time.
Look, I'm allergic to birds.
All right, so I just arrived in Manhattan. My allergies are killing me. You see, oh my God, I feel like crap. But it's early. A few other family members are here this time around, so I'm gonna go meet them. They're somewhere already exploring the city, so I gotta go get them. All right, we made it to Grand Central Station.
So around 2010, we started seeing the Tesla Roadster hype. And if you look at it just based on specifications, you're like, this power plant, we should be able to put this in other cars. We just kind of started a project, kind of like a technical exercise to see if we could actually build our own, kind of homebrew electric race car.
Today, I'm gonna show you how to build this electric skateboard. As you know, electric skateboards are a thing now. They've been a thing for a while. There's the expensive ones, there's the cheap ones, and everything in between. But there's a new breed of electric skateboards. They're off-road. And you got a glimpse of one of them last time I was in New York. And I got to meet Vitaly, which runs the Portable Electric Vehicles channel on YouTube. He built himself this beast of an electric skateboard that supposedly does about 55 miles per hour, which is just insane. So I thought I would show you how I would build one on the cheap, using off-the-shelf parts to keep the build simple. So let's get started.
Crystal's covered up like it was sandy.
I'm cold.
We almost lost our wheel right here.
Let's make a power wall.
Positive, positive.
Well, they're not super even, but they're okay.
Whoa, they are kind of all over the place. And just like that, we assembled a 1 kilowatt hour battery pack, 24 volts, ready to be used.
Alrighty. Alrighty, here we go. Look at it go. Vieron. Oh my god!
Let's talk about the EV West M3.
I'm Michael Bream with EV West, and 7 years ago we